Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to come together, Father, to do the business you've called us to do. We pray, Father, for those who live in Hendry County that their needs would be met, Father, and we ask, God, that you put a special hedge of protection around those that are responding and serving on the streets, and law enforcement and fire and EMS and emergency management. And Lord, we just ask, God, that you give us the wisdom to make the right decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Madam Chair, one more.
This is a regular meeting of the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held Tuesday, April 11th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the City Commission Chambers in Clewiston, Florida. In attendance are Chairperson Emma Byrd, Vice Chair Mitchell Wills, Commissioner Emery Howard, Commissioner Raymond Iglesias, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Attorney Matt Rollerson, County Administrator Jennifer Davis, and Deputy Clerk Sharon Congleton.
Thank you. Welcome to your new County Board of Commissioners. If anyone from the public wish to speak, we ask you to fill out a card and give it to the clerk. If you have any phones or device, we ask that you silence them for us at this time. Thank you. There's nothing on the bids. Next thing up is consent.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Will. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next thing up is the awards. At this time, we have Levita Holmes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself and the organization that I represent tonight. I have a guest with me. My name is Levita Holmes. I'm the new Executive Director for Glazed Lives Matter, and I bring you greetings tonight on behalf from our President and Founder, Janet Taylor. Some of you may know her. And so tonight, I just want to share with you a little bit about our organization. I'm going to take 1 minute and read this narrative, then I'll share with you what we have going on. Glazed Lives Matter was founded to give a voice to the people of the Glazed community in 2017. Activists outside the Glazed community attempted to push a land buy through the Florida legislature that would have taken 60,000 acres of farmland away from our local farming communities. To help protect our communities from these unwanted attacks, Glazed Lives Matters was founded. Our message to our elected leaders was simple: our lives matter too. As a result, our communities found their voice and rejected a proposal that would have devastating consequences for all of us. It would have cost of our jobs, hurt our churches, and turned the Glazed communities into ghost towns. Our organization went to Tallahassee and demanded that the interests of our people were to be put above everything else. We changed the direction of the debate, and as a result, the state compromised and used existing land state for restoration instead of taking even more precious farmland out of production and away from our communities. Today, Glazed Lives Matter represents the people, businesses, and faith-based organizations in the Glazed communities by advocating for positive change and honoring our local Glazed heritage. Every year, we award scholarship to local Glazed students and help share their stories of hope and promise with elected officials around the state. We also share factual information on social media about why preserving the Glazed communities is so important. So today, Glazed Lives Matter serves traditional Glazed communities around the lake: Pahokee, Belle Glade, South Bay, Clewiston, and Moorhaven. And so this year, we just came back from legislative session with our students, and we do it every year. Next year, we will be turning that program into an internship, into a ambassadorship, where we will actually mentor and educate those students throughout the entire year. And we're very excited about the fact that the education they'll be able to take into their communities and strengthen our voice. So we very much appreciate the hard work that you guys do here protecting our community and bringing resources to our community. So I'm going to have some of our students come up. Isabelle, bring your mom with you. I'll have Isabelle come up first, and she'll share her experience, and then we'll have one of our other students, and we'll just close out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity tonight. My name is Isabelle Gomez. I am from Montura here in Hendry County. Oh, my bad. I recently had the opportunity to visit the legislators in Tallahassee. I met with House representatives and senators, and I had the opportunity to represent our community and be a voice to them as well and let them know that we're here, we matter. So thank you for everything that you guys do locally, and they know your work out there in Tallahassee as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a true leader right there. That's awesome.
Next, we have Laura Davila and her mother.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Laura Davila. Let me just say it was an amazing opportunity to be able to go to the state capitol and speak to our legislators. It is like unexplainable to be able to say what a huge impact we have, showing our faces and showing that we are willing to take the steps forward to be able to represent ourselves. I'm quite grateful for the opportunity because as a future Florida State student, I was able to meet some professors and students and create those connections in the political science world. Even though I'm not going into that field, it is just a great opportunity to make those connections and show them that we do have students that are very interested in the field coming from this region.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can you just share with them what you're going to do when you graduate and everything that you shared in Tallahassee?
So when I graduate, I'm currently a student at Clewiston High School, and I'm graduating with my associate's degree from Florida Southwestern. So when I go to Florida State, I'll be pursuing exercise physiology and getting my bachelor's and master's to then go on to the University of Miami to pursue a doctorate of physical therapy.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I will be attending Nova Southeastern University to get a bachelor's degree in biology so that I can then go on and become a veterinarian with a specialty in genetic engineering.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I was so honored to spend 2 days with these children, their parents, their guidance counselors also went. The mayors had events in Tallahassee they couldn't attend. We actually took 10 students, 3 from Pahokee, 3 from Glade Central, 3 from Clewiston, and 1 from Crossroads Academy in Belglade. So as you could see, they really educated me. It was an awesome experience, and what I enjoyed about the trip so much is that just walking the halls of the Capitol, and I have to say this, my mom's or Janet Taylor's service throughout the years gave us an opportunity for those legislators, because they knew her, they came in and they met with the students. So it wasn't like they just say, hi, I'm Representative so-and-so and so. They came in and they shared their life stories, and it was so awesome. They really spoke to them, and one of the things that we want to concentrate on is reinvestment back into our communities, and that's what the legislators shared with them, to really key in on more than idealistically what you want to do, but what your purpose is. And we had an awesome time and an awesome presentation. I want Ms. Jackson to stand, Helena Jackson. Her daughter is not here tonight. She's in the workforce. She's working tonight, but she attended. Would you want to share anything? She attended the trips, and those are our 3 winners from Hendry County. So we just appreciate you guys, and we'll be coming back as we do things in the community for your support. And again, we appreciate you so much, the hard work that you do. Even when we were at legislation, just seeing the hard work they do on the state level and the federal level. And the students were honored on the House of the Senate by Senator Berman, Senator Tina Polsky, Senator Osgood, Representative Senator Bobby Powell, and Representative Edmonds. And we had different ones because some of our other students from Palm Beach County, but they also met with Lori, not Lori Berman. Who's I looking for? Lori Berman.
Mello.
Lauren Mello. She was able to meet with them and just share with them what's going on locally and how she's working for us in Tallahassee there. So it was just fantastic. And I thank you guys for our opportunity to meet our students.
Great experience. Thank you for what you guys did.
Also, congratulations to you for your position.
Thank you.
At this time, next up is a public, what's not on? Thank you. Next thing up is a public hearing. We have LDC 21001-1, that's 0.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ryan Alexander, Associate County Planner for the record. This is the second reading for the amendment to home occupations. Nothing has changed since the first reading, and it will be submitted as was agreed on in the first reading. If you have any questions, I can answer them or anything.
I have none. I make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Howes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak at this time? Motion passes. You still up?
The second petition before you is the Land Development Code Amendment to Section 1-50-8. Again, this is the second reading. This is requiring notice to be sent out to property owners, adjacent property owners, for comprehensive plan future land use map amendments. No changes were made after the first reading as well.
Madam Chair, motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wells, second by Commissioner Turner. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak at this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you so much. So we do have a few FYI, but Shane is not here. If anyone have any questions on him, I believe he tried to contact everyone. What's up left is the letter agreement for South Florida Crime Stoppers. That's right.
That was the FYI, just an
Right.
FYI item. Under my time, we have a legislative update that Emily Hunter will present in summary and answer any questions that you may have.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, Emily Hunter, Community Relations and Legislative Director. Just wanted to touch base with you all regarding some of the legislation that we've been tracking this session. It's been a very busy session, a lot of moving parts. I'll start with the Agricultural Lands Bill, House Bill 1343, sponsored by Kaylee Tuck. This bill currently includes language that does not allow counties to levy any special assessment on lands classified as agriculture and allows migrant farm worker housing by right on any lands classified as agriculture. An amendment was, I just saw that an amendment was filed for this bill this afternoon to include language in the special assessment portion of the bill that states that counties, I'm going to get this wrong probably, so counties would not be able to levy special assessments on land, agricultural lands unless the revenue from such special assessments has been pledged for debt service and is necessary to meet obligations of bonds or certificates issued by the county. So that's currently the only amendment to that bill. However, we have been in continuous conversation with our lobbyists. We've had multiple internal discussions regarding this language and have proposed amendment language that our lobbyists are working on. So we remain hopeful, but still cautious. Both
Have we done a fiscal impact of what that would look like to us?
For the special assessments, we have, the first one we did on all agriculture land, it was a little over $500,000. Then we went back and had the property appraiser redo it and only, and assess the ones with dwellings, because that was the understanding from FAC and our lobbyists and some other folks, and that was like, I think it was like 109,000 or something like that throughout all of our MSBU. So I mean, it's still impactful, but it's not devastating.
It's not backbreaking like we're
with-
fearful of.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now with the language between, with the $350,000 threshold, you know, that might make it, you know, a little different. But it's ever evolving on the special assessments. And we've been in contact with FAC folks and then our lobbyists, and we proposed, you know, language, and it's that, you know, they've been in constant contact with their understanding of what the definitions are, and it's ever evolving, but we're keeping a close eye on it.
Emily, have you heard from any counties that the impact would be just, I mean,
Florida
extremely
Association
detrimental,
of
like
Counties
listing, yeah.
sent out a survey, and they sent out the list. I'll be honest, I didn't take a thorough look at that list yesterday. I can definitely pull that up and send it
Yeah,
to you all.
I'd like to do that, because what happens so many times is if we cry foul too hard on an issue that doesn't really affect us, we kind of look ignorant.
Right.
And, you know, now it's like, hey, guys, you're not understanding the process that we're trying to do here, and so work with us, not against us. So, I mean, obviously, a $500,000 hit is a $500,000 hit, and I think just an adjustment to any of that language that would preserve that is huge for us, because any dollars and cents are big for us. But I just want to see, you know, is Hardy talking about $250,000, and when you add it all up and the fiscally constrained 36 or 37 that it is throughout the state, does that come out to a few $1 million? If it is,
Hardy's 609. Based on the report from the Small County Coalition a little while ago, I sent you that email because he's looking for figures for Hendry County. Them and us and Pinellas are the only ones they don't have on their list.
Chris?
Doolin, yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
we
but Pinellas should be minuscule at best, you know, because their farmers are gone. But, you know, what did Palm Beach County have, Raymond, Commissioner Iglesias?
That can't be right. 89,552.
Yeah, they're not paying attention. I bet they're deep into seven figures. But as you put it on a comparison basin, you know,
Okeechobee's 638.
You know, Palm Beach is off.
yeah.
So the House bill is set to be heard tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the Ways and Means Committee. It's the second hearing of that bill. Senate bill version of this.
Now wait, the same bill,
Yes.
1343, is also dealing with the migrant.
Yes, sir.
Have we gotten the language in there?
We not officially. We are working on it.
All right.
We had a discussion with our lobbyists just this morning, and they were relaying that information to Representative Tuck.
But we've drafted proposed
Yes.
language and went through it in depth with our lobbyists, and they understand it, and we gave them the rationale behind it. And the thought process is the amendment language is for the preemption, right?
Yeah.
But we've communicated, and I've probably done it to the point at exhaustion to the lobbyists, so they'll communicate it to the legislatures, that we support migrant housing for our agriculture community when it's done correctly, and we need good migrant housing, and it would help clean up some other areas that we have where it's scattered all over the county, and we support it and we approve it.
Yeah.
And so it's not that the language that we proposed is that's it. We would still consider another project that are outside of those criteria, but through our special exception process, just like we have on the books today.
But we did show that we have housing now, right?
Yes, we've given them maps, we've mapped it out, showed them everything that we've approved over the year, shown them where it is all over the county, and showed that, even some facilities that wouldn't even meet the qualifications of the amendment language that we've approved, and all things considered, we'd approve again in the appropriate location going forward. And so that's important for them to understand, that we're not trying to not have migrant housing here, that we
It's just the
actually.
location is not appropriate
Correct.
place for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Senate bill is also up tomorrow in Finance and Tax Administration. An amendment was filed today as well, but it's just clarifying language, changing, adding the definition of agricultural employee. So again, not necessarily any of the changes that we're looking for right now. The other bill is Senate Bill 1110, term limits. There's a House version of this bill that has already passed in the House that does not include term limits for county commissioners. The Senate bill version of this does include county commissioners, establishing term limits of no more than 8 years for county commissioners. And it is not being heard this week. It has one more committee stop before it would go to the Senate floor for a House vote. And there's a lot of varying, this could happen, and if this happens, it'll go this way. But to simplify it a little bit, if it passes the next committee, the Rules Committee, goes to the Senate floor, passes the Senate floor, with the language as is, including county commissioners, it would have to go back to the House for a vote. And there, the House of Representatives would decide, are we moving forward with county commissioners, or send it back to the Senate and have a back and forth. So there's still a lot of uncertainty with this particular bill.
What happened with the school board?
The school board term limits were in the original House bill, so that's already passed. And so since the language has to match in the bill, it's just figuring out if the Senate's going to push forward and keep county commission language in there, or if they will choose to remove that language. Any questions?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Commissioners. Have we taken a look at the impact, the proposed changes to FRS and what that impact would be to us?
Don't have, not yet. We haven't calculated that yet.
Okay.
We'll look into that.
So as of right now, on the Senate side, all of our appropriation requests are in. On the House side, we've got $750 for the wastewater at Port LaBelle instead of the $1 million, nothing on the others. And then we got the $1.2 million for Fort Denode. It is my understanding that it's a negotiating tactic, that apparently Renner has things in his district that he needs, so he's using that as leverage. I mean, what are your feelings? Still too early to tell?
I think it's still too early to tell. There are a lot of moving parts this session, and I'll just sort of leave it at that.
And what they've told us in the past is the amounts, I mean, they may stick or they may change, but as long as they can get it in with an amount, then it's there. And then
It's a placeholder.
and it
It's
can
essentially
change.
a placeholder right now. We're just happy that it's
in
there.
Yeah.
And then we can hopefully get to that actual ask price.
Right, so I look at it as that it's our request, but in reality, there's money there on the LaBelle side and Clueston side. It's about a total of $30 million. Commissioner Turner, as long as you've been here, have you ever had a sitting Senate president also our senator? No?
Nope.
She's the first.
The first we've ever had, the most juice we ever had was in the worst budget in the history of the state, whenever Denise was approached chair. And so, no, we haven't had Senate president.
All right, well, let's hope. So
Yeah.
once the budget is approved at the end of May, or end of April, mid-April, mid-May, whatever, how long before we know that the governor, how long does he have to veto?
Has to sit for, I can't remember how many hours,
Yeah.
and then.
There's a
you know,
cooling off
It could be
period.
45 to 60 days
Yeah.
before you really know whether you get struck on line items, so. We'll probably be knowing early June to late June.
Long waiting game.
That is.
Thank you, Emily.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The letter of agreement, who's doing that? The lawyer? It's up under you.
Staff report.
The Crime Stopper.
Well, that was just,
Right,
There's
she said
nothing-
it was under that, but it was listed on ours under staff report. But you said it was under the,
It's up
Consent.
under Jennifer. It's
Well,
on,
what
at least on my page, it's up under
And
Jennifer.
we got correspondence B, I think, as well.
It's up under D,
Just a
Jennifer.
resolution?
Oh, for the FYI? Is
No.
it-
no
No?
ma'am, it's actually under you as staff
It's up under
report.
you.
Oh, I don't have any.
no.
It's a letter
don't
agreement for
either.
Crime Stoppers.
See, did you add a Crime Stoppers? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me refresh my.
This is the one I sent you, that Adriana sent you.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I hadn't refreshed my agenda. I still don't have it.
It's a Crime Stopper allowing the letter of certificate for Crime Stoppers to go forward.
It's just from the AG.
It's open now. You can see it if you like, look at it.
We need a motion.
So you just want a letter of support, permission for letter of
Right.
support for Crime Stoppers? That's all it was. Okay,
Okay.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Commissioner Glacier, did you make that motion?
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Wills. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Mine was exactly like yours.
I
Ms.
still don't
Davis.
have
You
it.
probably have to refresh it and
I do.
boot it back
I
up
have it.
for it to pull
Oh,
it
you
back
do?
up. Okay?
Sorry, technical.
Next, we have old business. Anyone have anything they'd like to discuss? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak at this time? If you filled out a card, you may come forth.
On old business, Ms. Bird, the only thing I wanted to
I-
ask was
okay.
if Mr. Parker could please get me some information back on 27 and Evercane,
Okay.
where we stand.
Madam Chair, I wanted to update the board on some litigation matters. I've stepped into every non-insurance related litigation case that the county has, and I want to make the board aware of that. And the Brickell Aviation matters, we've gotten a partial judgment. We have possession of that unit, and it's locked down. The second part of that will be to get a final judgment for monetary damages and fees. I'm working with the outside counsel to get what we need to do on that. That should be, I should have that before, hopefully before the next board meeting.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other oldest business? At this time, we're gonna call Ms. Reverend Gwen Patrick Griffin to the podium. Please state your name when you come up.
I'm going to ask you all to come up also, please. Is that okay?
That's
Can I-
fine.
If you don't want to, it's okay. You can keep your seat.
You pass that back to us.
Did you want to say? All right. Good afternoon. You all know me. I'm Reverend Gwen Patrick Griffiths, and I'm the interim president for the Brown Sugar Festival, which is a Harlem Academy Alumni Association. And we are coming to you, first of all, I'd like to do a little reading of a Yale University study that says that festivals, and I'm here representing Brown Sugar Festival, festivals promote community pride by celebrating things that make a community feel special. It provides an excellent outlet for people to experience something different. It helps the people in our community express themselves in unique ways. Festivals leave you more connected to humanity. Just want to tell a little short story. Some years ago, I was in my home, and I happened at that point, I was living in the hood, and a couple of guys came walking past my home, and they were talking. And I don't know the details of the conversation, but I didn't hear the first person speak, but the second man said, "I'm not doing any crime before Brown Sugar. I'm not going to be in jail when Brown Sugar happens. I got to stay clean. So whatever you want to do, you're going to have to do it by yourself, because it makes me feel good, it makes me feel positive, and I ain't doing no crime." And so I said that to say that Brown Sugar has done a lot for the Harlem community, more than we can even. People have gotten married, met their husbands and their wives, and met companions, and it's done a great thing over the past 44 years, and we are trying to continue that that atmosphere with the festival. Of course, you all know of the situation that we've had in the past, and I can say that none of us, I don't think, in here has ever taken a gun and shot anybody, and so therefore we shouldn't be punished. And I'm not saying that we're being punished, but it seems that we're climbing mountains and climbing mountains and climbing mountains and climbing mountains just to get to a point in producing another festival. And the biggest thing is the community is crying out for it. I wouldn't be so tied up into it if people were not calling me and asking me and saying, please, we need a relief, we need something to happen in the community. And so I come before you this afternoon or this evening asking you for your help. It's been a long, hard struggle. Commissioner Byrd knows it. She's been there with us and helping us from time to time. We've had some serious problems. We've solved them. We're in the process of solving them. But we still have a financial problem because we did have to hire a lawyer. And that cost money, a lot of money. And so where we would be normally situated to produce a festival, we're really having a problem. And we come to ask you, we got 5 brains here. I mean, and you guys are, we've been having festivals in Hendry County for years, and we just need you to put your thinking caps on and see where you can help us. We need, at this point, we have a bill from the Sheriff Department for $12,000 that we don't have. We need dumpsters and stage and porta toilets and golf carts, and we just need all of the whole stuff that you do at a festival to make it comfortable for the people, and also to adhere to the things that you all are asking us to do. We need help. We really do. And I've got people here who know and can attest to the fact that we need help. And so when you need help, you go to a higher power. Now, I always go to the Lord. But we also need to come to you all and ask if you know of anything that you can do to help us. We need, and I'm talking about bare bones, about $20,000. So we just need help. We need help. And we got a community that's crying out for, just give us something. Give us anything you can come up with. Just give it to us. And so my purpose is to just come here and lay our problems on you all and ask you to, help us with it. Whatever you can do, we understand. If you can't, we understand. But we do need some help from you, and you all have the ingenuity, and you have the wherewithal to help us get some of this done. So thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Open to the floor. I don't know if anything that we can do. I know that we try to make sure, like the facilities, to make sure they are able to use the facility. But as far as the porta potty go, I wouldn't know how to even start in that area to do anything about that one. So
I'm confused on what is the rules that have to be followed from a standpoint that we're creating a burden. And I apologize for being ignorant, Ms. Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it seems to me just off the cuff, we have multiple facilities that are in the area, and is there a threshold written in the books that says in order to have X number of humans on the streets having a festival, you have to have porta potties, or you have to have a required vendor that brings that service in there? Is that written somewhere?
there's another, what's the name of the other form that they needed to do from this, on the state level?
The FDAX.
The FDAX. So I have, that, I never heard of that, but when we was in Tallahassee, that was approached to us about this particular form, so they do know about it.
But was that approach for us for brown sugar, or was that for the?
Any festival.
Yeah, that's for every festival.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pennies on the dollar. It's.
Yeah, I don't even know if
I don't think there's a cost associated with it. If it is like $150,
I don't know necessarily there's a fee associated with that.
I don't mean to overstep it.
There is a fee associated with some of it. We do have to
the
pay a
FDAX,
fee.
the FDAX form, Ms. Patrick, that, I'll call Wilton Simpson myself. He's the Commissioner of Ag, if you need me to help with that, and we'll do everything in our power to get that form filled out and make sure that the Brown Sugar Festival will not be held up because that form won't be in. So we can check that box off.
Okay.
All right.
That's the FDAX?
Yes, ma'am, but
FDAX form.
Ms. Patrick, it's not even worth losing an ounce of energy over, so don't sweat that one.
Okay.
But
we were told to.
They have to have it.
Everybody has to have it. Every festival has to have that one, and I think that also has to be correlated with parades. I think that there's a dog and pony show. If you want to have that, you have to have that form. Could be wrong on that, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the roads being shut down for the parade, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, that's a zero cost benefit, and there's nothing that would prevent that from occurring, I don't think. But I don't know, and once again, I know I should probably know this in the role that I play, but I don't know what the laundry list of items that have to be checked off in an effort for a community organization to have a festival. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to not be divisive in my words tonight about this, but I, for the life of me, can't understand why a festival can't be had in the Harlem community. I don't understand it.
I know.
The only thing that makes me mad about brown sugar is when people miss football practice in spring or they miss a track meet. That's the only thing. And I have PTSD, no disrespect to veterans, because some of my teammates didn't get to play in the state championship track meet because, they had to go get their fit for brown sugar, right? And Coach Dotson and Coach Morrell lost their minds, but I digress. So that's the only negative thing I have to say about brown sugar. If we want to get really, really deep into it, people have lost their lives at Brown Sugar. Guess what, Ms. Patrick? People have lost their lives walking down the street every day.
Right.
I don't think that this board signing off on brown sugar occurring is in any way, shape, or form endorsing deaths to occur.
Right.
And I don't think also that we should be thinking that we need to have a burden of security that is so great that it A, feels like it's heavy-handed, or B, there's a heavy cost associated with that. So I think that that's something that we should have to, we have to look at. And then I just go back to, y'all are lawyered up. You just said to us, y'all are lawyered up. That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart that we have to get any type of person associated with arbitration into a discussion for a community event to occur. I don't know where we're at. So what does our process say in black and white about a community event occurring?
So Ryan,
Yeah, Ryan's got a list of that standard for.
would you come to the podium so she'll be able to record, please? Thank you.
For the record, Ryan Alexander, Associate Planner. Was the lawyer fees, are those in reference to brown sugar?
I think that's in reference to the death last year.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't think
reference
it's
to
for
having
us
the.
Good.
having
We
it
haven't
listed.
required a lawyer. As
Good.
far as the
Right.
requirements for the portable restrooms, that is part of our special event application, is a contract with portable restroom business. And then as well as, that has to be approved through the health department, so I'm sure it's a health department requirement.
But that's been in place forever. That's nothing new.
It's nothing to do with brown sugar. This is our special event permit. As well as security, verification of security, that's across the board. We followed up with the Swamp Cabbage Festival to see their fees, and then also to see how that's paid, and it is in line with that festival as
And
well.
they work that directly with the sheriff's department. We don't decide what that is.
Swamp Cabbage works directly with Sheriff's Department.
Right, but
Yeah.
also Brown Sugar works directly with the sheriff's
We just
department.
need to provide
Right.
that bill saying that they paid it for the security at the event. That's all we require from the county.
But I do know they're willing to work with you till after
Who's willing to work
Sheriff
with us?
Department.
The
They're
shi-
willing to work with you if you have not spoke with them.
They haven't, well, we have a sheriff representative every meeting.
But they
And,
are willing, because I spoke with them, they are willing to
well,
work with
we're
you.
not aware of that.
Yes.
So the other things are like the dumpsters, the porta toilets, I don't know if we could do without the golf carts, getting around and checking on everybody, but, all of it adds up to about $19,000, and we just don't have it. Somebody loan us the golf carts, I don't know. Y'all think,
Do
just
you-
think.
Can I ask
I
a
don't know.
question?
Yeah,
Do you,
absolutely.
Ms. Patrick,
What'd you say?
So I just want to be clear, we haven't done anything at the county level to prevent it. They just have to follow the
No,
guidelines we have in place.
I think that's correct.
I think she's just here asking for money.
that's
Is that the way I understand it?
fundraising. If they do any other fundraising.
Nope.
Well, that's the.
It's not our.
Patrick,
place.
with all due respect.
I'm sorry.
What about
I'm sorry.
sponsors? Do you have, does the
that.
Round Sugar Festival have sponsors? I know that
We're,
Sugar Fest and Swamp Cabbage, they go out and get local businesses to sponsor. Do you guys?
we're doing fundraisers right now, but we're making money right now, but we still just don't have the.
I'm talking about our sponsors, like corporate sponsors. Have you reached out to?
Yes.
Do you ever reach out to businesses to
Yes.
sponsor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We don't get a lot. We have to sell potato pies and fried chicken and fried fish, and it's a grassroots effort for us, just for us. It's always a grassroots effort. We just sold fish. What was that, Sunday? Yeah.
So do you have less sponsors this year than you've had in years past? Or you just have more expenses this year?
We have less sponsors and we had more expenses. So we had a little money, but hiring a lawyer kind of took that out.
Sure.
And
Should
so
have
we
wiped you
just-
out, probably. They're expensive.
Well, I'm happy to understand that, the litigation issue had nothing to do with the county's
Correct.
creating, a distressful situation.
No.
And I'm also I'm happy that we're being in lockstep with every other festival that we require or any other body that we have to give a line item of approval to. If I'm understanding correctly, there's nothing that this commission is doing to prevent a brown sugar festival from occurring. No. Okay. And what you're asking, Ms. Patrick, is there any way that this board could find some assistance, but we don't have necessarily a budget that you all have presented to us to know where low-hanging fruits could be had? I don't know if it's Henderson's. I don't know who the sanitary people are. I will tell you this, Ms. Patrick, I deal with a lot of different budgets and a lot of different facets, and I like to drill in on them with a finite detail. And so, I would be willing to look at y'all's budget,
Okay.
And see what I could bring to the table. I'm not a proponent of asking this commission to stroke a check to underwrite a festival unless, I think I try to make sure that we don't worry about if we do it for brown sugar, then we have to do it for Sugar Festival, and we have to do it for Swamp Cabbage, and we have to do it for X, Y, and Z. I don't agree with that. If those entities are strong and making it to where they're turning a lot of dollars and cents and they don't need any help, then I'm a huge fan of not having any help for those. I would encourage you and a handful of the people that you love and trust to go in front of the TDC. I think you can easily justify a few $1,000s from the Tourism Development Council, even though y'all have been in existence for 40 plus years. Ms. Patrick, if somebody wants to deny the impact that brown sugar has in this community, then they're just putting up blinders and not paying attention. Because I guarantee you there's not a hotel room in the area that is available.
Right.
There's, you can go up to Okeechobee, you can't get a rental car at Enterprise. You can talk to Red. I guarantee his rental cars are already gone. You can talk to people on the coast. I don't need to get into the details of brown sugar. We know what kind of impact. Everybody sells out everything. And that's because the herd of humanity that comes in, not to mention, I'm talking about out-of-towners, not to mention just how many of our people that are from Harlem
Yes.
that come back home to love on and hug on and see
Yes.
people that we haven't seen since the last time we got together for brown sugar. So, I want to see it occur. Pray to God that we don't have any tragic events. But you and I all know there's nothing we can do to prevent evil. Except
We're
hope that
taking
good prevail.
actions to make it a little bit more safer.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going back to the old field. And I do want to mention to you that when we first started 40 some years ago, the county helped us. You all built our booths for us. You did that for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And so you've always played a part in what we did, in not so necessarily with money, but you did, send the labor out and help us. And so you've always played a part.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Ms. Patrick, I think, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I do it a lot. I think that after the festival, I think that we've, in the years that I've been engaged, the amount of man hours that goes out and actually picks up litter and engages that process, I think it is tremendous still. I don't know if we've ever given a bill for that. I will tell you this too. When I first got elected, we hit that really bad fiscal turn in the country. Mm-hmm. And Ms. Davis, I think we were plus 30 grand, giving aid and contribution. I can't remember, it was grants and aids, I think was the line item. And we cut all of that out, Ms. Patrick. Mm-hmm. I think brown sugar was getting like $3,000 at that time. We were giving money to Sugar Festival, brown sugar. The Hendry County Fair and Livestock Show was not getting an actual check, but they were getting $12,000 to as much as $22,000 in-kind contribution by mowing their grass.
Right.
We cut all of that out in its entirety. We've never added those items back. We've never added those back to underwrite them. And I think the reason why we didn't add them back is because, I'll give you another one. The Cougars and the Longhorns were getting $2,000 a piece. We cut that completely out, and we've given it a couple times since then, but we haven't given anything in perpetuity just automatically. So, once again, I'll close with I would love to see your budget. I would love to see where the low hanging fruits are, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at what our black and white rules say you have to have, and does it say for every anticipated 100 participants, you have to have 2 porta potties, or does it say for every 1,000, and all that stuff? And then I think that's something too that, easy conversation to hammer on Henderson's and probably get some of that donated, or look at a C&B Farms or somebody like that and see if they couldn't, bring some of their stuff in. But just a quick and easy down and dirty of what your budget is, and I'll look at that and then see where I can engage with you all privately on that.
So a couple of things. I agree with Carson about the TDC. As the chairman of the TDC, I think it's a perfect project because I can tell you that you do fill up hotel rooms. That being said, our grant application, there's a timeline as to when you can apply for it. So
Okay.
I want you to get with Emily Hunter here, and we're anticipated having a meeting here this month if everyone commits to it. That's number one. Number two, Tommy, is there anything on the dumpster side that you can help with?
That our waste hauler would have roll-offs that they could do that for, I think. Yep. Yep.
And then lastly, last year, I remember being in here and our waste hauler was in attendance at the time you guys presented brown sugar. And he stood up from the last row and said, hey, we'll commit X. My question is, did you guys reach back out to them this year?
Well, yes, but we didn't get we got the service from him, but we didn't, remember he said X amount of money.
And
He never
didn't
came
deliver?
through?
He didn't deliver?
No.
Well,
But he
we'll
did,
follow through.
Fruit, what did he do? He did something for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did but we didn't get the money.
I just remember him mentioning a figure, a specific figure.
Yeah.
So we're going to look into that as well. He'll check that out. Get the minutes from that meeting. I remember him mentioning a couple thousand or so.
But what about porta potties? Do we know anybody that's local?
Well, that's what I would like to join in with Commissioner Turner. If there's, if you can give us that line item budget that we can look and see exactly what your needs are. Most of us know folks that would be able to, we could reach out to and have them partner with you guys as well. So, that's a easy enough thing to do. If we could, I'd just like to see that same information.
It's creeping up, right? Is it not the first weekend in May is when you usually have?
Right, May 6th.
It's always the first Saturday. So you need to contact them like yesterday, so when, after the meeting, either you get their information so you can go ahead on and they can move forward to see what they can do to help you with. Carson's gonna be the hardest one because he's in and out of town, so you might wanna catch him before he leaves.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So,
And
Does the city of Clueston contribute?
I would say no, but I don't want to be mean to them.
I'm curious. The city of LaBelle does contribute to swamp cabbage. I know that.
wow.
Again, if we can get the budget and we see the line items, I'm sure the five of us up here and all the staff, we can help figure this out. Again, It's a festival. It does bring a lot of people to town. I've attended it several times myself. Probably had some of the best barbecue ribs I've ever ate in my life.
Skinner's.
And I like to eat, so I'm hoping you can get this pulled together to get them ribs put back together. But seriously, we just need to. If we can get that budget, we can see what we got to come up with, exactly where we're at, because we can reach out to quite a few of these companies. The waste hauler, if they didn't come through the last time, they really need to step up this time. For them to say they're going to do something, if you tell someone you're going to do it, you need to do it. So we need to reach out to these people personally. The waste hauler, the porta potty companies. There's quite a few that we can help with this, if you can get us a direct line item on what it is.
Okay. And Commissioner Mitch, we could use some prayer warriors too.
You got that.
If you got
I can
any,
handle
send them
that side
to
of it
us.
for sure. So.
We could really use them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you share that when you do get the budget? Can we get that shared amongst all of us so we can try to drill in and get it worked out?
when is I know you have a TDC meeting coming up, but when is your next TDC meeting? And when do we
It's
distribute-
actually Thursday.
And when do we do the funds for it? When do we?
Well, we just got to
distribute?
have a commitment from the board.
Okay.
And if we just got to look at what the criteria is, and if we do it in arrears, we can, we'll try to figure something out. We just got to have support of that board.
You get Thank you so much, Ms. Patrick. So hopefully you'll be able to meet with them just as soon as everything is over with, so.
Ms. Patrick, how quick can you get us that budget?
Whatever you need to get to us.
Right.
Brown Sugar's gonna happen whether it's prepared for it or not.
That's exactly right, Ms.
Yeah,
Bird.
because even if I told my children last night, well, y'all might want to stay home this year, but all of them came. Look like when I spoke that word, everybody came
Yeah.
home. So they're coming, you know, they come home. It's a special time for everybody, so we just need to see what we can do. I just like for us in the future to do this a little bit sooner than later.
Yep.
Because when you do it later, we can't help, with, you know.
Ms. Bird, too, I think, too, to your point, though, I think that's the most, that's the happiest thing that I'm taking away from this is we're not being prevented from this festival.
No, the staff really
yes,
have
ma'am.
been
So,
head over heels trying
I'm
to work
glad,
with
I
them.
want to go on the record as saying.
I think everybody's
the
been
board
trying
and
to
staff
help
is doing
as
nothing
much as
to
they
stop
can.
this festival. So.
Even the sheriff, when I spoke to him, is willing to help, you know, do some things after instead of.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so they are trying to help, and the facilities is there. So we're just doing everything that we know to do. You know, we don't know everything, but yeah. Well, it should have been spoken, but anyway, I'll talk to you afterwards so you'll know who to call and, make sure you know that information, okay? Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. I mean, we've been speaking up for you, trying to get it there, you know, so. Is there anything else? Anyone else from the public wish to speak at this time? Thank you so much. At this time, we're gonna go district by district.
Few things. A little shout out to the Clemson Christian School there. They just had a rush week last Friday, and they went out through town, helped paint the Clemson pool. They actually went to the cemetery and picked up trash and weeds. Also want to give a shout out to a lady by the name of Sue Sweatman from LaBelle. She's actually coordinated cleanup days throughout the year. This coming Saturday, she's organized one off Cowboy Way in Port LaBelle through Eucalyptus. I'll be out there helping. We're going to work on something to do with the garbage. And then, as you guys recall, a little over a year ago, I came before this board asking for permission to have golf cart use authorized in Flag Hole in Montura. We got the Flag Hole approved, and unfortunately, Montura was denied by the state attorney due to the Florida statute not recognizing water control districts. I have worked with our lobbyists and up in Tallahassee, and we have gone through 3 committees on the House and the Senate side, and hopefully another week and a half, we will have that approved, or Montura will have the use of golf carts, as the amendment was created to recognize water control districts in the state of Florida as use of golf cart authorities. That being said, I'm also going to reach out to Judy Kennington Corf next week to see if we can do the same thing with Port LaBelle. So hopefully by our next meeting, I'll have better information and it's passed through. That's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner,
Nothing from District 2.
okay, Commissioner Wills?
Well, we got a request in here. You guys saw the request for the joint meeting with the city of LaBelle. This is something that I had requested. Commissioner Howard and I will be directly affected with the DOT talks they're having about the traffic route down 29 through LaBelle across the bridge. I feel like we needed a voice in that, so I requested a joint meeting. We're going to have that meeting. That was in part of your consent. So just to give you a heads up what you're looking at when we come, I met.
There was no date, though.
There's not a date
Okay.
yet.
We have to.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
had to- we
I
had
just
to
want to
pass
make
it.
sure.
That's
yeah.
right. There supposedly was no changes. I was sitting in the meetings with the city when I was watching the drafts take place. There have been changes from what we were shown originally. So I think it's important that the commission also sees this, so the city and the commission are unified in this effort to get this pushed through, so it fits the people of LaBelle. That's what it's about. It's about the people of LaBelle. It's not about me individually or Commissioner Howard, either one. It's about the people that live in town. They're talking about bypasses and all kind of stuff, which is not what LaBelle needs. We need to work on the traffic pattern. That's exactly right. So I appreciate everyone moving forward on that. We have we're working on our new interlocal agreement with the city of LaBelle. And I'd like to ask tonight that the city of LaBelle is going to pass this Thursday. It's an opportunity for the city and the county to work together. It's something that's never been done. The city would actually be using the county fuel farm, just like the EMS does. They don't have all the stuff the county has. So when I started sitting down talking with the city, I said, why are we spending $100,000, $125,000 on a piece of equipment? You're spending $125,000 on a piece of equipment, and we can't put a butt in the seat. So we worked out the situation in a local agreement, which is something I'm sure Randy will take a look at as well. To whereas the city can contract the county equipment for cost. The equipment, the city's using the county equipment, and then the county is getting the money back they bought the equipment with.
Commissioner, are you talking about like an excavator or
Anything.
a skid steer? You feel it, we own it, the city doesn't have it. The city's gonna come to us and go for a number at cost, or what our number is, what we're paying ourselves, is what they're gonna pay. Yeah, you're clearly using too much logic here. I don't know what your thought process revolves around. You're actually trying to have people work together and operate at a lower overhead. You've lost it. You've gone mad. So,
I've been told this.
yes. Everybody has to have their own stuff. Don't you know that?
Okay. I understand, man. I've completely lost my mind.
I like it, baby.
But the question I had tonight was, once it passes Thursday, I'd like to see if the board would be online with, say, after it passes Thursday, our county attorney looks over the agreement, everything's good in that, if we could give the direction for our chair, Madam Chair, to sign that off on that, so we can move forward.
So moved with approval of county attorney, Madam Chair, and I'm gonna tell you, I know it has to pass legalese, but I want to make sure that captain of the I run everything like it's my own private business says I put my thumbprint on it as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
The problem
absolutely.
is we need to work together.
Yeah, it makes no
doesn't make
sense.
any
Yeah.
sense to get
I'll second
two
that.
shovels and we use the same shovel.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
that's where we're headed. I'm hoping this, once this comes together, actually, Mr. Martin mentioned once, he said, man, if that happens, that's gonna be completely changed everything, the whole structure of everything around us.
Yeah.
So I'm kinda hoping once this does, that the city of Clueston will come together and we'll have what we should have here.
Yeah, I don't know if the city of Clueston or the city of LaBelle owns a vacuum truck.
We do.
You do. And I know that's one of the tools that we do not have, and we have to have it from time to time. And I know that the city of Clueston needs that from time to time. I've been dying to buy one and rent it back, and I'm like, well, that's just shady, But so if the contracting world needed it more, I would go ahead and pull the trigger on that. But that's easily a $500,000 item. You can get them really good sometimes for 50 to 100 grand. But it's something I think we would wear that thing out, and that's just one of those ones that it goes back to, it makes too much sense. So, yeah.
That's it.
Thank you for spearheading that, Commissioner Wills.
Thinking outside the box, that's great.
Thank you, Commissioner Turner.
Ms. Bird, I know I'm harping on it a lot. Yes, we did. Oh, I'm sorry.
We need to have a
Motion
motion.
and
Right.
We did.
I had a second.
Okay, now tell me what we passed again. About the local
Yes, ma'am,
agreement.
interlocal agreements
So
between
motion
the
by
cities.
Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Turner, all in
Reversed,
favor?
yeah.
We're good to go.
First,
Motion by
second.
Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Ms. Bird, only thing is, just please, if you could ask Mr. Parker to shoot us out the details associated with 835 and 27, where we're at on that thing. I don't want to get anybody whacked again. And thank you for the migrant camp maps. I'd like for us to make that agenda item.
Did you send it out to everyone?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Last week.
Yes.
We can do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe I overlooked it.
Okay.
I'd like, Ryan, I'd like for you to kind of, put a little one pager together and give us y'all's thoughts on where we sit as a county. I don't know if you've visited with any other counties on what they're doing. But as Emily keeps us abreast of how this thing goes in Tallahassee, I'll just let everybody know, and I'm sure y'all have been reached out to as well. I mean, I've had a lot of people, I've had more people from Felda call me about the issue that we have there potentially, and I've had other large agricultural interests in our region call and say, we need to keep control of this, because if not, it becomes a bad situation for the community. And I'm not going to get back on my soapbox of the Clueston Inn and Hungry Howie's building turning into all that, but those are real possibilities that could occur overnight if we're not careful.
We
So-
can do that at the next meeting, because most of the work's already been done. Ryan's done a lot of research and
Okay.
reached out to most of our, if many surrounding counties, on what their local ordinances are. And then our lobbyists have also provided some information, and we understood where some of this was coming from the Commissioner of Agriculture. And, when we first heard about it, it was like, well, that just doesn't even make any sense. But what we found out is there are many counties that are just not approving any migrant housing,
Exactly right.
period. So I can understand
Yeah.
why I can understand what they're doing, but it's not a one-size-fits-all.
That's exactly right.
Is what we're trying to communicate. Because that might be why we're having some of the problems we have, because some of the other
Somebody
counties
else
aren't
is doing
approving it at all. And that could help us as well with some of the other issues that we have.
Well, how many have been proposed to them, like you said, and they didn't approve, so
Right.
they came a little
So
old
they're
Henry
all
County.
coming here,
Yeah.
and so that's creating even more of an issue for us, and so.
Is there any way we can find out if it was on anybody minutes that's in our circle, that it was on their agenda? If any, housing came to them and they denied them?
Well, there's 4 that we were told, or maybe 5 that we were told of, but we can share that in the one pager that he can do and.
Ms. Davis,
share
Ms.
that
Bird,
information.
I think too, it would be interesting to know what has happened in extreme western Palm Beach County. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a driver. And Ryan, are you familiar with some of the condemnations that occurred in Pahokee, Belglade, South Bay area? Have you heard about any of that through the grapevine? It wasn't just migrant housing. It was literally just horrendous living conditions that Commissioner McKinley just wasn't going to stand for.
He was a champion.
And so she engaged it with a couple of slumlords, and they gave them, they followed it to the letter of the law. They gave them the ability to correct their wrongs. They never did it. So then they dropped the hammer, and there were some buildings that were destroyed. And I say all of that to say, I understand there's an emphasis on migrant there, but there's also this other conversation that's out there that I think is driving some of this. Get your hands off of my property. I want to be able to do exactly what I want to do with it whenever I want to do it. And so I think it would behoove you to have a phone call with Ms. Baker's staff over there and see, just give us a little bit of feedback, or give yourself a little bit of feedback, so you're just knowledgeable of what some of the issues that they've had have been.
Shane Parker has actually also reached out to the Lee County Farm Bureau as well as FDAX. So they're involved in the conversations as well, and we're hoping to kind of re-loop with them. And if we can follow their lead, that's the ideal circumstance.
As long as it leads where we want it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can follow their lead.
There you go.
But he did speak at their last Farm Bureau meeting in Lee County last week, I think it was, and he gave them examples. The way it's written, this could happen, and they didn't realize that could happen, and so it woke them up, and they were receptive to our
that
language.
camel's definitely gotten its nose under the tent on this one, so, yeah. Which is what happens so often, so, thank you, Ms. Bird, I'm done.
Thank you. For District 1, I think this needs to be put in the opening that the city of LaBelle distributes, helps out with their festival, and it's not like the Brown Sugar does not fill every hotel. I get 20 rooms, and I'm only one person. So if every family got that amount of rooms, we are filling up the hotels, and I do believe that you do need to reach out to the city of Clueston. I know I'm saying it over the mic, and that's the purpose of it, because we do contribute. And I do think that they need to give back as well, Ms. Patrick. So I do believe that you need to approach them, and even after doing that for now, you need to also make sure that it's an ongoing thing, because we give. We fill up every hotel, we eat, we bring the revenue in, and it need to be acknowledged that, it might be brown sugar versus whatever sugar, whatever festival, it doesn't matter. The point is, we fill up every hotel, and they need to give back. But we have not, because we ask not. So I encourage you to reach out to them and ask, okay? Appreciate everybody that's working in the county. They're doing good on my end. I can't speak for everybody else. I run behind the guys that come out to Holloman, Hookers Point, and the area that I can see. I'm not in Montour as much as I used to be, but I do appreciate the work that they put in. And Tommy, I thank you for trying to help me keep everything clean. You know, if you keep your neighborhood clean, people feel good about themselves. And there's some things that we need to do between the Harlem area and the Hookers Point area and certain areas in Montour. And I just think, Jennifer, we need to go back where you talked about the helicopter and they flew over. We kind of dropped the ball on that, and we need to pick it back up. Because I think because we're getting slack, they know it, and we just need to pick that back up and go back out. But thank you so much. Is there nothing else to be said? Anything else? Meeting's adjourned.